Hi guys, it's April and I garden down in southeast Nebraska, zone 5B, and this is another garden tour. It's a little more overcast today and it's actually feeling very nice out here. We are in the August garden and this is the point in the season where I start to wonder what I'm doing. I have so much coming in, I'm trying to process it all. At the same time, I'm trying to maintain all of this out here, and it's a little bit chaotic. And this is usually when the heat is starting to get me, and there have been a lot of days where the heat, I just haven't wanted to go outside because of the heat. But I think today is going to be one of those days where that is not the case. It feels lovely outside. I think it's probably about 70 degrees right now. And of course, the sun is not beating down on me. I mean, it is super early in the morning, but still, it is glorious. Things are sort of starting to transition in the garden. I don't normally do a fall garden. I do plant some radishes in hopes of getting more radishes, but that's about the only thing I do fall-wise. Otherwise, I'm just letting all of this produce as much as it possibly can. The tomatoes are still going strong. The peppers are hitting their season. I've got the corn growing, and then all the other goodies. We don't have a lot of the leafy greens anymore. I failed a little bit on the beans. I might have to focus next year more on the beans because they were kind of an afterthought this year. And they're not doing the greatest because they've been overwhelmed by other things, but I'll just show you. First up is the corn I mentioned. I don't always show you the corn, so I figured I'd show you the corn this time around. It is looking good, and it is in the midst of all of my volunteer tomatoes and ground cherries, but I think we are going to have some corn stalks for decoration this year, which is super exciting. There have been a couple ears, and this is popcorn, so they're not huge ears. I don't know how much popcorn I'll actually get off those cobs. I don't necessarily need it, so I'm not too worried about it, but it is fun to see those. So that is the popcorn. I'm going to turn around and start the beds. This, of course, is this first bed on, this is what, the left side of the garden? Yeah. And I've had to pull out one of the zucchini plants because it was completely decimated by squash bugs and vine borers, so it had completely died back. But you can see the possibility of more zucchinis. Honestly, I'm okay if I don't get any more, but I'm also not going to stop these plants from producing more. I tend to, at this point, give what I produce away because I have all I need stored up, and I'm running out of ideas of what to do with zucchini. I have seen a dried zucchini kind of candy gummy recipe that I might try, but otherwise I'm so zucchinied out. But here you can see this runner bean is putting off a lot of flowers. I still haven't found any beans on this actual plant, but we're still hoping. Pepper plant, still doing really, really good. We've got a lot of fruit on this one. Looks like there's some caterpillar poop. Not sure. Oh, it looks like it ate it there, but I don't see the caterpillar. So my bird friends might have taken care of that, which is why I keep a bird feeder. Otherwise, tomatoes, these are my determinates. They are looking super crazy. And then we've got this one basil plant right in the middle there, just hanging out. As you can see, we also have some fruit that needs to be harvested, which brings us to the peppers. Now I have harvested a few of these peppers. I haven't done anything with the spicy peppers. These are all spicy. I did use a couple in our cheese dip the other night, but I haven't really done a lot with spicy peppers yet this year. In this empty spot, I planted a couple of my daikon hybrids. There's about 3 of them. One is the Mini Mac, then the Bravo. And for the life of me, I cannot remember what that third one is. But there's 3 different varieties there. The problem is I sometimes forget to water with the fact that I've just got so many things going on. Early in the season, I'm really good at keeping seeds damp so that they germinate, but this time of year, it's every plant for themselves kind of mentality, so we'll see if these actually come up. Later next week, I might plant the full Japanese daikon, but we'll see. We have this beautiful butternut plant that is creeping over into the pepper bed if I don't keep an eye on it, which is crazy. And then over here, you see the beans? I'm just waiting for those to dry out because, first of all, I completely lost track of this whole bean area. So I'm just gonna save all those as dried beans and either use them as seeds for next year or just rehydrate and heat them up. So I'm just gonna let them go. There are a ton in there. I've just not been in a place where I can deal with any of that. The tomatoes, however, I need to go through and top all of my indeterminate tomato plants so that for the rest of the season, they just think about ripening what's already on there. Because honestly, I have so many tomatoes, I don't even know if I need the tomatoes that are still there. Look at it. There's a little ripe one right in there. I just need to come through and trim. I need a nice day where I am okay with being outside. Whether that day exists, I don't know. Here is the pond flower area, which, like I said, isn't necessarily where I want it to be, but I don't dislike it. There is a lot of grass I need to go through and I need to pull that isn't supposed to be there, but I like the zinnias that did end up coming up. Then over here, we've got the kiwi plants that look so good this year. I haven't seen any kind of flowers or anything. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm probably gonna have to do some research this winter to see what the heck I'm doing. And then you can look all the way down. We have sunflowers. Some of them are starting to open up, so when we go that way, I will definitely show you. But let's go back to this bed real quick. We've got more tomatoes that totally need topped off, and the potatoes, I am for sure I am going to pull up this weekend. It's got to happen. I'm just going to do it because the tomato plants, my trellises have completely shattered, as you can see, this open string, and I have no way of getting and seeing what is potato and what is tomato in this bed right now. It's a nightmare. And we're at the point where it is getting hard to mow because of how these tomatoes are just pulling everything down. I'm not sure when this plant fell over because it was fine yesterday. Like I said, I just think I need to go through and I need to do just a hard cleanup maybe I will do that today or Sunday, maybe. I don't know. We'll see where my energy is after work, because this is too much. Mowing is getting hard, and harvesting is getting hard, which is why, like I said, I want to extend out this bed a little bit, but then I want to put some kind of mulch or gravel walkway around all of the beds, just maintenance. This sunflower is already done its thing, but just kind of showing you that there are things going on over here. Some of these are just way too tall for me even to look at. They're pretty from the bedroom windows where I can actually see them. I will admit that my butterfly weeds and my milkweeds, that bed didn't quite turn out the way I wanted it to. So when I pull that up this winter, I'm going to rethink the seeds I throw in there. Last year, I loved it because of how the buckwheat and the zoba came up within that grass, and you had all this color. But for whatever reason, my milkweed isn't flowering, and then my butterfly weed didn't flower that long, so it just looks like a mess over there. But let's get back to this bed. We've got, I need to come and harvest those at some point today. We've got, let's get in there for you. We've got some red peppers. This is the confetti peppers. And we've got some bigger fruit beginning to show up. There's a lot buried in here, and I like to wait for my peppers to turn whatever their final color is, because I like that sweeter pepper. And every day I go through here and I try to free up these pepper plants a little bit so they have a little more breathing room. But they're actually flowering, so that's cool. And as you can see, there's a butterkin just hanging out in the bed. I don't know if I'll actually get any chickpeas. This is the garbanzo beans. But these plants are looking fabulous, especially compared to the ones that I had planted over by the deck. Those ones are completely gone at this point. But these ones look like they're doing pretty good. They are a longer growing bean, so I don't know if I'll actually get any garbanzo, but I have learned through this process that where I'd put the garbanzo and how exposed they were wasn't the best place for them. But here, one of the butterkins is starting to ripen up, so that's exciting. And then that pumpkin plant. Let me show you that pumpkin plant. I need to kind of reconfigure the vines on this pumpkin plant because I can't have it growing this far out into the yard. So I might just kind of wiggle everything back into the bed. Still only seeing this one pumpkin, and for the last couple days I've been babying the heck out of at least this vine that pumpkin is on, because I keep thinking I'm gonna lose it because it doesn't look good. But this morning, it is looking very, very happy. So that makes me happy. In fact, all of the squash vines look pretty good. And this candy roaster I've been a little concerned about because much like the orange pumpkin over there, I thought some of the vines were going to die back on me. But something about this morning's temperatures and the water that they got, they're perking right back up. And of course you can see the 2 fruit that I have growing on it. I need to come back and throw that vine back into the bed. We don't need it in the grass. And then of course the zucchini plant's looking good. As you can see, there is a bunch of fruit on the ground for the ground cherries. Uh-oh, it's starting to rain. That's the butterkin. This is going to be a fast end of the tour because I can't be out here with the rain. We've got these tomato plants that are kind of starting to hit the end of their run. They're not looking the greatest. I'm going to try not to make you dizzy. I have a strawberry that I need to pick. This tomato plant has always been doing good. And then this plant is done. I have harvested nearly all the fruit off of it. And it's a determinate plant, so like I said, that's pretty done. I need to harvest the rest of the fruit off of that and then just pull it because this ground cherry is getting silly. It's just taking over. I'm going to brave the rain a little longer because we have this tomato plant, which if you dig, you can see some of the fruit right in the middle here. And it looks like that one's ripening a little bit. We have a red noodle bean, which is exciting. And then all of these cherry tomato plants have gone crazy. And part of the reason why I just need to come through and I need to prune, because they are now in the middle of this bed, and this is a tree. I need to not have you here, sir. As you can see, the spinach has completely died back. Even my strawberry spinach starting to lose its oomph, which means the celery is really taking over that bed. At some point, I just need to go through and harvest all that celery and put it in freezer bags to use later, just to give this tomato plant some room to be a tomato plant. Oh, and look, we have a ripening, I believe this is the striped Roman or the speckled Roman. It's one of the two. And then I'm just gonna briefly look this way where you can see the eggplant over there, the strawberries that have just come all the way down here and are trying to get into the grass. So I'm gonna have to swish that around a little bit. And then the peach tree with a little bit of chives. But it's raining, so I am going to go underneath the deck. Sorry about the rush there at the end. None of my equipment is waterproof, so I didn't necessarily want to ruin any of it. Plus, I don't know what kind of rain this is going to be. It might just be a light drizzle drop, or it could just be a sudden whoosh. And I kind of don't want to be in a whoosh. So that is the garden so far. I didn't do a full pan, but kind of getting a feel for how wild everything is going at this point. I need to make it a priority to come through and just do a massive clean of everything. I need to get the time to do that. It's one of those things where you do a big garden and then remember that you also have a full-time job. So balancing that can be a little interesting sometimes. But if you would like to follow me on my journey of watching my garden grow, I like to do these videos every week so that I can look back later and see how the garden did over the span of the season. Feel free to subscribe down below, hit the bell, do all the things to get all of the notifications. I also have a Threads and Instagram account where I like to post what I'm harvesting as I'm harvesting, and then what I do with that harvest. So you can check that out as well. Otherwise, I do hope I will see you again in another video, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.